Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Had to have high hopes, had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars, but I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Had to have high hopes. Mama said, my big brother drove an Indian Scout. It was black like his jacket, American spirit hanging out of his mouth. Just like our daddy. Shade 45 guitar, kissing on a blonde in a backyard pool. Out where the wild things are. His heart's on fire, a crazy dream. Oh, there are people here. Growing up to sounding, down when the sky gets dark. Out where the wild things are. I would DoorDash for 12 hours. I'd make $40, and then I'd take that $40 and that would get me about maybe 500 miles, maybe. And I would just take off and drive around the Northeast Kingdom, all through all the back roads and the rivers. And I'd just put on the country music station. I'd just listen to country until the police pulled me over for not having a license plate. And those were the best times of my life. Wandering around empty parking lots by myself, singing and talking to myself. Being so paranoid I can't move, and having to fight in my old apartment building, to being so paranoid I can't move, but instead of nobody being there to save me, the birds came to comfort me, and the raccoons would sleep next to me. If I hadn't been so brutally traumatized, alone with nothing and nobody, I wouldn't have been able to fully recognize the value of nature and love and empathy. And it's something my parents will never have. Look at the ground shining. That's the frost on the ground reflecting the light. Grown on downtown when the sky goes dark. Out where the wild things are. His heart's on fire with crazy dreams. Out where the wild things are. I sang so they'd leave. I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. I have nobody except the crows and the lonely police have a problem with me always. Can everybody pray that everything works out for me perfectly and I have a chance to record everything that happened in my life and also make all the albums and TV shows and movies and skits and things I've been trying to make for years? Because you get what you give. Whoop! Oh, fuck. I'm out of food stamps. I told you I bought that amazing coat that I've been praying for years. Not this one, the one that looks exactly like the one I wanted. And then suddenly Facebook halted all of my money. So I did just get a return of $75. So I'm pretty happy about that. Because it is snowing out right now. I found out a way to survive at night as long as I have an outlet. This isn't the life that I wanted. It's a life I feel satisfied with. Because I know if I have anything more than this, there's a chance that I'll be deluded and I'll be like everyone I see in the grocery store. Whereas right now in my suffering, I have a superpower. I'm alive, baby. I'm conscious and humble. I'm solving the world's problems right now. So something that probably is God. It's probably the universe as a conscious entity, and the wind blowing is its thoughts. And it's all an enmeshed simulation that's all conscious. So something just came into my head and told me that Kai Cenat wouldn't be able to exist without my contrast. In order for Kai Cenat to invade the entertainment industry, and he sold his soul and went to the white shirt parties and all that, I had to live like this with God, out in the forest by myself. None of them could exist without me. I'm the rock. And I think that that might be better than, because I got to see all the reasons that I didn't actually want what they had. Because I fought like hell for what they had. And I never got it. I wound up here suffering. And I got to see what their life is like. And now, because I'm not busy, I'm living all of their lives at once. Because I was gifted, instead of being gifted with luxuries, I was gifted the ability to empathize so much that I can see, that I can feel like all of their, I don't even know how, I'm a higher entity using this body. Like, the reason I stay in seclusion where my entire life has been in a little box like this is because I was never meant to really identify with my body. They just gave me a good looking one. Like, they gave me a good body and a good face, good genetics to make it easier. But I've suffered more than anyone I know, except for the occasional homeless woman in her 40s. Other than the occasional homeless woman in her 40s, I seem to be the person that's been through the most in every situation of every day. So I try to keep it humble and keep it pushing. I didn't even do this. All this trash isn't even mine. There's I was gonna wait till the morning came up just to document that there are no trespassing signs, implying that it's not really like, you'd think if they really come out here and beat homeless people regularly, then they trespass them from this land and they don't give them a map because they want to come back and do it again to them in a couple of days when the homeless person takes it up the street a little bit further up this trail, because this is where they think they can go, because they'll go into town and the town will hurt them very badly. It's an awful experience to wear the same outfit 2 days in a row in a rural Northern American town in the mountains. It sucks. So most people come here for safety. They think this place is safe, but this is the place where there's no cameras, so the police can do whatever they want. So when they trespass you, they don't give you a map. So you have to come back and get your stuff. and then you're too afraid to go out into public because there are more people out there that don't necessarily have body cams. So you just take it a little bit further up, and then the police come back and do it again to you. Because now you're like a farm for their ego. They feed off you. They'll kick your dog and kill it. They'll try to agitate your dog so that they can shoot them. And they're only just now getting in trouble. Half the townspeople have a story about different cops that have raped women they know. Or try to solicit sex from them. The police here solicit sex from people. They wait till the girls turn 18. Then they try. If the girls don't like them, then they'll arrest their boyfriends and make up bogus charges. I don't know, the phrase bogus charges has been coming up. The phrase bogus charges has been coming up so much. Everyone has a story about the word bogus charges, the phrase. So that must be a normal saying here, and it's so normal that everybody says the cops here do bogus charges in order to solicit sex from women. I talked to a lot of people today. None that was willing to testify. But, I feel like I'm gaining a little bit of traction, but I also feel like with Pluto moving into Aquarius, I'm pretty sure shit's gonna change very rapidly. I always go back for the people I love. Should I point at my face? What's up, guys? I always go back for the people I love. Anytime I get spiritual wealth, when you get spiritual wealth, you probably jack off. When I get spiritual wealth, I think very long and hard, and it's often difficult with my traumas and brain injury, but I'm still considered a higher IQ than most people. I figure out the best way to help others, and I persevere. My friends are here. I persevere to go back to help others, and usually it's just that there are truths that people are avoiding: narcissist, gang stalking, prejudice, cops, creeps, cunts, crows, and crackheads. And I go back and try to help them, and it just ends up worse for me. The lesson I've needed to learn for a decade is to just shut my mouth, leave everybody alone, and focus on myself. But I just feel like the world needs a love that I have, and the world is wrong, and I'm always looking for a different way to make it better. My body, like my soul, is constantly cycling the abuse that I'm going towards, finding solutions and trying to push those solutions. It's like an automatic factory from the childhood traumas of me having to fight my way out, has now grown into a subconscious, constant reproduction of taking the pain of the world and then cycling it into a better better future. And then I get to a point where I start doing it very well, and then I come to a better version of the present moment, and then I start to phase out of the simulation because my brain produces extra DMT. So I can just see it how it is. I tune it out. I psychologically tortured myself, but it's inescapable when I wake up in the morning, and usually there's a cop right there. Pretty much every time there's a stranger, and then there will be a YouTube video guiding me through the situation that I'm having. So the other day I woke up, there's nobody here. Look, there's nobody at all. But there's a process I can do in my head. I can activate my brain in a certain way now that I understand quantum physics and spirituality, and I basically have a degree in it. I've been doing it since 2014 at least. I've been on my own, but I've been alone in solitary since I was born as an only child on top of a mountain with an entire room full of Legos and an abandoned ski resort to myself on top of a mountain. It was second nature to me, and I'm the most powerful life path number, the most powerful astrological sign you can be. My sun is in the 8th house. My Aries is in the 12th house. I have a Taurus rising. I have a Leo North Node. I'm a Sagittarius. And all my signs are, except for the Taurus rising, all my signs are Sagittarius and Aquarius. So if there was something to embody a generation, it would be me. So I'm saying that I've learned things. I think it's called spiritual initiations. That it gets to a point where sometimes, I don't think it will happen while I'm on the phone. I don't think it will happen while I'm on the phone. I know the universe doesn't make mistakes. I know on my live streams I've been able to predict the behavior of others from about a length of a football field away. I could get into their mind from a football field away, and I knew exactly what they were going to do and how they were going to do it, and I called it on camera exactly to the T. The exact second that he made the decision, I was able to call it while I was explaining to everyone in the chat about how the universe works and about living in a simulation without having a psychotic break. How to be calm about it and chill. How to not freak out about what you're in. That's called, you can look that video up, it's called Facing Off Against the Matrix to Save Neglected Cats. There was a crackhead that had a box truck that was harassing me and stalking me and jerking off next to me through the car and shooting up and practicing witchcraft and doing horrible shit and targeting me specifically. Prison rules where they take your spiritual bandwidth and they become you and they slowly degrade you into nothing and then leave with your spirit. My mom did it to me today. And he has 2 cats. I was writing an album called Bear Cat, and he showed up with a cat named Bear. And the album cover was red and white with brown undertones to symbolize the year of the wood dragon and the Sagittarius, Aquarius, fire, air. And then he showed up in a red and black and dark brown box truck with Bear Cat. So he was beating the cats. He was screaming at him like my dad used to scream when he'd get mad. And he'd yank the cat and he'd just, stop! And the cat's like, and he'd look at me through the window. So of course I staged an espionage and I used the Matrix to invade his mind and I worked his emotions until he got so mad he came to attack me. And then I skirted around, picked up the cat and ran with it. But the biggest lesson I've had to learn in the year of the wood dragon, karmic 8 year, as a momentum-based sign that's always going the distance, all or nothing, is I had to learn patience. I'm either going forward at 250% or not at all and I'm just cowering. But I needed to learn that if I just stayed consistent and made small, which is the thing I preach to everybody all the time. I've been doing it my whole life, but I never can fully adopt it, even though I know it's exactly what I need to do. And looking back at my life, if I had done it, I would be probably I'd be way more famous than Andrew Tate. I'd be the most famous and most Googled person in the world because my actions would line up with my words. And I'm not selfish. None of my money would be hoarded. I wouldn't be playing any power games. I wouldn't sell my soul to anybody. And I would just be going from town to town, making the community better, solving all the issues, and then moving on. And then I'd take you all with me. So I'd enter your town. We'd audit the whole place. We'd test the fire marshals, the police, the judges. I'd have some of you dress up like bums and be homeless for a couple weeks while we partied, so that we would draw them out, get lawsuit money, get you all paid. Whatever the leftovers you'd send back to me to continue this going. If you give it all, that'd be great, because I'd buy solar panels and an RV and add to the caravan. And then you could do it again and then make yourself some money. Or just half and half as we go. Then we'd pick up all the lonely losers that are doing nothing. We'd beat the fuck out of them, teach them how to fight. We'd teach them the lessons about living in the forest and how to speak to crows and squirrels and how to live outside and connect to the sunlight. We'd cure his COVID, spike proteins, and fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, calisthenics, cold water, omega-3s, multivitamins. quantum mechanics, the Higgs boson, different exercises to open your mind, and then you're all connected. And then I probably wouldn't want to be around you guys, to be honest. Once you're at that point, I'm guarantee you, mostly you'll all delve into power games, and all I would be doing is having to fight the tug of war for a bandwidth. So I'd have to figure that out, because I can't build a giant Freemasonic lodge to keep you out with the pillars and the statues and the gargoyles on the roofs. But then we just go to town to town to town, picking up people and making everything better, and slowly switching over, destroying coal plants and stuff like that and replacing it with solar panels, showing off very simple methods to live inside your means. There'd be many, many people that would leave living in triplexes and quadplexes and would move back into being on land in like a 10 by 20 shack with solar panels that has everything you need, and then everything that you'd want is outside in a fenced-in area, so that you have a more integrated relationship with nature. And you'd be able to live. You'd be homesteading, and you wouldn't need to worry about electric bills, property taxes. And then I'd train you all to fight. We'd slowly weed out the ones I don't like and keep the ones I like. Hopefully, eventually we would be able, because at some point I'd need to have enough income that I could hire two, and this isn't racist. Specifically for my mission, where I am in Vermont, I'd want two giant, trained, ex-military security guards that are of dark skin, because I'm in a very prejudiced place. So we'd be baiting police once they've violated the rights and they've gone outside of their jurisdiction, which is considered unstable. Then my guys would come out from behind the trees, handcuff them, and do exactly what they did to me. And then we could put them, who knows? This is a hypothetical. I don't have any money. It just makes me feel better at night to think about the people that hurt me getting what they deserve. What else? We'd pepper spray my mom and leave her deep in the forest to scream and cry, and no one will help her, so she can feel what I felt. And then we'd send her fake help, and the fake help would punch her and leave, so she could really feel how it is. But she'd have a heart attack by then and die. I'm tired of gang stalking narcissist NPCs trying to steal my spiritual blessings. I'm cold as hell. POV, you're cold as hell. When did you make this mind call? What mind call? Minecraft. Praise the Lord. What if I don't fucking want to praise the Lord? I low-key, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I get out of it. Sometimes I walk out of the tent and I command every living thing in my vicinity to praise God and give all the blessings back, so that he can rain the blessings back down on us and continue setting up the universe in a way where we're protected and get what we enjoy out of life. Iced pumpkin spice coffee. It's fucking garbage. Can you guys acknowledge all the crazy shit that I've told you I've been through? How brave I am to be standing out here? Are there anybody in the chat that's heard my true stories about what I've seen and what I've been through out here in the forest alone? I think I'm pretty fucking brave. Like my name means. Everything that I am, praise the Lord. Okay. We're going to sleep, everybody. I've heard you tell them. Thank you, Cole Fisher. I don't remember you, Cole Fisher. If you have a problem in life, I'll solve it real quick. Most people can't. The Matrix traps people in their own mind, and they go in loops of suffering, trying to figure out the problem, because they have to karmically work with their community and their simulation to come up with the solution. I am blessed to have a perspective and have the ability to recognize. Look at this dude. Who's this? I don't know. You look ugly. You look ugly. You're gone. I do focus on day to day, bro. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. He looks exactly like my cousin. It's a simulation. This is the cousin that I miss. He's from my hometown. Can you imagine this guy? This guy strikes fears. This guy strikes fear into many corrupt police officials. That guy looks like he takes bribes. Okay. Thompson stopped by the Morristown Police Department and stated that he believed that the defendant was staying in a tent off the Moy Valley Rail Trail. Why? Why did this guy feel that I was staying in a tent off the rail trail? Okay. He's lying. His statement is not lined up with with what actually happened. He lied. He's lying. They didn't say my name until a half hour later. They left out the fact that they lied to me for a half hour. They antagonized me. They tried to create an unsafe environment. They tried to make me afraid. This report is complete manufactured lies. He completely lied. There's nothing, so far there's nothing true about what he wrote here. He spelled it wrong. There's lots of errors in the spelling. I did not say anything about that. He didn't say I was under arrest. I was not resisting. He made it up. This entire thing is made up. He saw that I was recording the entire thing, and he still lied. I took a $7.99 propane tank. I told the manager that I was expecting a YouTube donation, and that after this cold front, because it was going to go down to 5 degrees, for some reason, you know, they're controlling the weather, so it was going to go down to 5 degrees. I had just gotten this heater. I didn't have this tent. Remember, if you go back, I was living in like a shredded up, old, left behind tent that I had built with sticks. And I was living in that. So I was freezing. I didn't have any sleeping bags at the time or anything. All I had was, I spent all the money that someone sent me donations for on this heater. So I didn't have a propane tank. I knew Heather was probably going to send some money the next day, in a couple days. So I stole one, and I told him about it. And I said, I'm going to come back and pay you double in a couple days. I just am afraid for my life, and I don't trust the police here. So there's nobody I can call and nowhere I can go. I don't trust the humans at this point. So I'm just doing what I got to do, and I will pay you double. And they still chose prejudice. They called me a junkie, and they said a whole bunch of shit, and they called the police. Okay, so here it says they would flush my eyes out with the water, and then we would walk farther because I couldn't breathe. It doesn't say anywhere that I was telling him I couldn't breathe and that he sprayed my inside my mouth and my nose, and I had just quit cigarettes and I had a cold. So there was tons of shit in my throat and my lungs coming up, and I couldn't breathe. I was spitting everywhere the entire time. They also didn't mention they illegally went into my tent, started searching. When I told them to grab a water, they were looking for other things. They ripped things out of my tent. Then, because it says nowhere how he got the water. And they're saying they flushed my eyes, but it was in my nose and mouth. I was coughing up water the whole time because I was choking. And right here, they were attempting to get the defendant into the back of the ambulance. So he already says that they were loading me onto the ambulance. What you'll find in the body cam footage is that he had already up here, he forced my arm in this really weird position. He put my cuff so tight that I don't know if I still have the mark. I had a mark for a while. It was a month ago. But it's called torture cuffs, where they put it as tight as they can because they're just mad and they want to. We have a history of this guy harassing me, and I have him on camera harassing me, and I have him as back as 2 years ago violating my rights. The same guy. He didn't mention anything. He lied. The entire at least 5 and 6 are complete fabrications. Most of 7 is a fabrication. They lied about the initial saying my name at the start of the interaction. They never said my name. They failed to identify me for a half hour. Then they came back and screamed my name at me through the tent. They never explained to the defendant they never explained to me I needed to walk out of the rail trail to meet rescue. They never said rescue was coming. I begged them to call an ambulance. I told them several times, are you going to get an ambulance? Did you call an ambulance? And they ignored me to keep me afraid that I was going to suffer and die because I told them I was choking to death. Do you understand? Why they would not, when I asked them if they needed an ambulance, when I told them I needed an ambulance and asked them if they got the ambulance for the pepper spray, can you see why them purposefully not answering me would be considered psychological torture? So because he had my arm in this chicken wing weird position where every time he stepped forward to pull my body, it hurt, because he purposely, while I wasn't resisting, put my arm that way and put my cuffs way too tight, that I was in pain for probably an hour, begging them to fix my cuffs, and they wouldn't. At the very end, before they're loading me onto the ambulance, and he even admits right here that they were attempting to load me onto the ambulance. He yanked my arm backwards in a desperate attempt to probably dislocate my shoulder. I say, fuck you, and I spit. And I can't see where I spit. The sergeant, or the sheriff, told me that I spit on his face, and he had to wipe his whole face down. That was the story. What he wrote is that I hit him in the neck, and it got over his outdated uniform, t-shirt, and vest, and he had to throw them out so that the department would have to buy him new ones. But they told me I spit in his face. Nowhere on here does it say I spit in his face. So that's a second lie that they told. He said he put his hand over my mouth because he had latex gloves on and pushed me into the ambulance and onto the stretcher. The ambulance, I don't know if you've ever seen an ambulance, guys, but when you're standing, say I'm 6 foot with boots on, you have to step up a couple steps to get onto the stretcher. What he did was pile drive me into the steps of the ambulance and throw his entire body on me. Both of them did. And then I'm pretty sure I walked up onto the ambulance and got in. And then I think that he left his body cam with the cop that went with me, and they went back and illegally searched my tent. Now he's lying after the sheriff lied and said that sheriff was responsible for washing his face, when in reality he says that Morristown Rescue, who was supposed to be washing my eyes, instead was washing his neck. And he claims he lost a pair of reading glasses during that altercation. And specifically that altercation. He completely made up the entire thing. Remember, we have this guy on camera standing over me saying nothing, stomping. outside a building I had permission to be behind, and then told me to leave town for 2 minutes. We also have him throwing a temper tantrum, throwing his words at me, trying to intimidate me and scare me through the tent, using excessive force. We're not sure if they had an actual way to identify me. They were going off a hunch. It says nowhere about any reason that they had to fully believe that it was me in the tent. They have no idea I was in the tent. They're stating nothing. The state's attorney for I think we need to talk to Brian Tomlinson. Isn't it funny how we have Jennifer Hill and Brian Tomlinson, and Brian means Hill? Don't you think that these are just bots and this is a challenge in my simulation? The woman at the desk lied about what I said to her. I did steal. I'm not going to deny that. I'm telling the truth here. They told me. So this is called intimidation, where they had told me that they found me. They knew I was on the Lemoyne Valley Rail Trail for a different reason than what's stated here. They had no way to know I was in this tent. There was nothing. My bike wasn't even here. I could have been anybody. They fucked up. They used excessive force. They stalked me. They harassed me. They used intimidation tactics. They threatened me several times. They came back multiple times after in the past month and have threatened me again. They've been stalking me and harassing me again, trespassing on private property just to shine lights in my face from the car windows, blaring the high beams at me while I'm eating my meal and not leaving. Then they take the patrol car and they slowly go around me. They were slowly going around me and tapping on the brakes so that the loud ceramic brakes would make a high-pitched creak in my ears. They would come by where they knew my tent was and they would just tap on the tap on the siren, sometimes up to a half an hour. I don't think the guy's jerking off. What do you think he's doing? He's sitting by my tent going boop, 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 and nobody else is here. It's actually a business. And it got so bad that the other day, someone that works here had to get out of work, get into his truck, and then slowly drive next to the cruiser so the cop got the hint that he's not welcome. Then, when they couldn't get me and they knew that I had grounds of what they did, they couldn't intimidate me, and they kept trying, and it wasn't working. They eventually went on my YouTube, found whatever they could. They're probably watching. They took whatever they could to justify saying I was mentally unstable because they couldn't have me committed for a crime because it's First Amendment, freedom of speech. I can say that I want to kill people. I can say that I have a list of people. I can't say I'm going to go kill someone. Everybody has a list of people they wish they could kill when they're mad. So what they did is they weaponized the local Lemoy Valley Health, and they sent another fat prejudiced woman with a fat prejudiced man who is known to be a pedophile around town, a creep. And then there was a kid who, in my opinion, is obviously on coke. I've never seen someone act so out of their mind, other than kids that they're on coke. That guy was not raised right. He is not cultured. He has not been around enough to have the authority that he thinks he has. And I do not want to see him out here alone. I do not want to see him on the force. I don't want to see Audette or the other guy on the force. And in that instance, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about what happened. Because I don't know where they're going with it. We're going to ask him politely to just throw everything out on the grounds of this is full of lies. It's full of easily disputable facts. And the real truth is on my phone, on YouTube, publicly. And the real truth is on their body cams. I don't see why he would make up lies for 20 minutes. How long do you think it took him to write this? He's not very smart. It's full of misspells. This guy can barely hold himself up. Every time he's come out to talk to me, he's struggling to stand. His words are slurred. And he was not able to correctly type out this is a government document. This is an official government statement. And he could not he couldn't even right click the little red lines under it to make sure that it was spelled right. After he had just used excessive force, intimidation tactics, harassment, and violated, I think, my first, my fourth, and my eighth, maybe? It's either my 8th or my 14th, right? And that's just 1 out of 6 instances that I have. So this guy looks identical to my cousin because it's a simulation. My cousin just is probably 15 years younger. How old do you think that guy is? 30, 35? My cousin is probably 21 now. But this is for the case of I'm coming for you. I know she's watching. You can't traumatize me for the rest of my life. Try to gaslight me, try to slander me for the whole town. Make up shit for no reason for years. Try to hold it over me in a power game. When you don't get your way, and then you call me a brat. The only time my mother has ever cared about me is when she feels like she can be a better person because of it. And maybe not even just be a better person, if she can be seen as a better person. She's one of pretty much my whole life's purpose is to uncover the truth about disgusting people. Among many other things. And my mom is ground zero in my life. Every year I find out something worse about her. All right, hello everyone. The people that you look up to, like celebrities, the people that throw the biggest parties in Beverly Hills, famous rappers, licensed psychologists, CIA agents, all hold me in a very high regard and value my opinion and tell me that I'm a legendary soul that God put in the simulation to embody some form of perfect humility. They call me an enigma. And I'm just chilling. So if anybody has any questions, I'm sitting here with my Skippy peanut butter, and I'm down to autistically solve all of your life's problems in a way that maybe you're not able to see. And then I'm going to Skippy daddle out of here and get some fucking sleep. I'm broke. All my income is from YouTube donations, but I got some for someone sent me some money for Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to save it to buy a power station so that I can make content out in the woods, and then get a guitar and a saw. But I'm trying to sleep, and then I'm going to go to the dollar store and get $3 worth, maybe a gallon of water. Does anybody have any questions? Tell me about your problems, fam. I'm here. Or at least type a 1 so I know that to stick around. I'll go to like 156. 56 minutes. Want a house tour? This is my gun. It's a .177, so it's a BB gun, but they're powerful enough that you can shoot through somebody's head, especially at close range. I don't have any ammo for it because I'm trying to save my money, and I'm on the fence about whether or not I should kill crows. But they've been torturing me. It's been psychological torture for months, for years now. I've learned other skills to get them away, but I think that there's nothing permanent like making a scarecrow out of crow feathers and a headdress out of crow feathers to symbolize overcoming what the Matrix has done to me. All right, I don't think anybody's commenting. If you are, select all, cut, type a 1, and then paste it back, and then keep commenting so I know you're. The van is 2,500. It's 100,000 miles. Pretty much everything except the outside and the furniture. If I worked at FedEx, so I'd have to go to a place where police are killing homeless people right now. Pretty much every couple weeks, a new homeless guy is dead because the police went too far. What the police are doing is, here they'll follow you. They'll do what they did to me, like excessive use of force, and the guy's an old drunk that can't use his mind correctly, and he has power games, and he's a known creep. I don't know what you call someone that solicits. He makes up bogus charges in order to try to get blowjobs from women. A sex offender. He's a sex offender. In Burlington, they all get together in groups, so there will be 6 or 7 police. They'll just descend on a random homeless guy, and they'll put him in the hospital, breaking several bones, and probably like one guy I saw, they punched his pregnant wife. I swear to God, I raised my hand to the sky. They tackled him, and then they intimidated his wife, and then one of them went, just lost control for a second, tried to kill a baby. But if I go there, there's a better chance maybe FedEx will hire me. They didn't hire me last year because I was unhoused. UPS wouldn't hire me because I was unhoused. Walmart wouldn't hire me. I was living in their parking lot and they wouldn't hire me. Home Depot didn't even let me get into the office to ask. The guy in the military uniform tried to scare me out. Local restaurants wouldn't hire me because I was trespassed from the Planet Fitness, because I went in and asked I asked for a job at Planet Fitness and the guy trespassed me. It's my hair. It's my hair and my autistic eyes. I mean, I've got 120. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about telling him, look, I don't think nobody's bought it for 4 months now. Let me give you 200, and maybe I could work out with Claire or somebody to move it. Claire owns a gym, that gym I used to try to sneak into. Claire's the owner. Maybe Claire has somebody that would let me move it to their property, and you could keep the keys, and then I could have a place to sleep sometimes. What does that mean? So I could offer him labor. I don't think there's anything he needs that I could offer. I think he works at a realty group. The car's parked outside a real estate agency. Which, I mean, I want land at some point. I wanted land out here. Now I want to have a volcano erupt and flood the streets and petrify everyone. And then live in a spaceship for 20 years and then come down as a grandfather. And then live here. Once everyone I hate is dead in the rapture and the lake of fire. And then we can inherit the earth. I mean, at this point, it would be snow shoveling. I'm on a mountain, bro. I'm like 2,000 feet above sea level. Right now, it's about 20 degrees. And that's just because we have wildfires that are happening very close to it. Like, we're surrounded by wildfires right now. So that's keeping it warm. Like, if I went like 5 miles east, they're about 5 degrees at night, and it's full snow on the ground over by Elmore. Like, when I look over at the mountain, I go on maps and I look up on the weather app how cold it is. We're getting to like 20s. They're getting down to 10s and 5s some nights. The only reason I'm not cold right now is because I am autistic. And I've trained myself to stay warm. Where the fuck is my cough Fev? Do you remember when Trump posted, where's my cough Fev? You fill up my sense of like a night in the forest. Oh, that's coldish. That's cold. That's really cold. Okay, the wind chill is bad. And the wind was blowing. Okay. I'm cold. But I'm not. It's just the wind. My body really only reacts to the quick, sudden change in temperature. I don't know if that's normal. So for the people that just tuned in, I read what the officer said about when I was maced, waterboarded, because they targeted me and they tried to intimidate me. Is that a raccoon? There's an animal out there that sneezed. I think it's a raccoon. And it's completely made up. He lied. The entire thing is made up. From 6 onward, he lied. He violated my rights and he lied. So if anyone wants to donate to getting the body cam footage. Or just go to my last video and type W. Kirk. Because he's my public defender. And he said that he would subpoena the body cam footage. And now we have to. I mean, when he blatantly lies this obvious in the case, even if it's just misdemeanors, that's my ancestors said that's a fireable offense. My grandfather was a cop. My grandfather was a cop in Bronx, and his voice just came to me as I'm looking at a spider. Can you dance for us? Get sturdy, Spider. Get sturdy. Do the Harlem Shake. Dead now. You're dead now, motherfucker. Your mother was a cuck. My mother is a cunt. Ah, we're gonna... I don't have the money to be using my heater, but I'm gonna use it while I make my bed, because I'm an American. I don't have the money to afford a tripod. I know I say it every day, but if I had a tripod or something I could put here, and then I could speak like this, and then we'd wait for the crows to come, and then we'd shoot them and make a headdress out of their feathers, and I would cook and eat their meat. No diddy. And we'd have crow burgers for dinner. This is a heater. It's my Mr. Buddy. It's my only friend. Why am I getting Marvin the Martian? Why is Marvin the Martian coming to my head? I'm not a retard. Okay. So this is a 0 degree blanket. The problem is, look how fucked up it is. And the zippers don't work. So I can survive in it. I can lock myself in a nest. This is my 4th year of not having heat. My first year I was in an apartment with no heat for a winter. And I was hiding by the stove with a cat. And then I would go out at night freezing with no gloves, and I would hunt for food for the cat, stealing from stores and shit. The second year I was in my car, but I was in a nice Dodge Magnum. The third year I was out in a tent in the woods. The 4th year, I broke down in a sundown town, had to kill someone in self-defense, got ostracized by the entire town, trespassed by the entire town. People were trying to kill me for weeks. I had to hide in the woods. Saved a girl that was raped by the police. The police started targeting me. The town folk that didn't like me going and getting water from Subway lied to the police with accusations I was violent, hoping that they would shoot and kill me because the police here are known to do that. So they were giving them a reason to brutalize me. And then I learned Native American songs in the woods, sang them, and then somehow, in the simulation, right? Somehow, the governor of Vermont saw me singing my Native American songs. And Jolly God, come on down. People at work, I don't want to do it too loud because I know they'll call the police. Take me to where I need to go. I definitely need to get back in the woods because I'm feeling less and less human every day. They're really tearing at my soul every day. And I'm feeling less like myself. My family's completely gone. And I'm alone. Croissant in hand, I was alone. Coffee in hand, I am alone. But the governor of Vermont called me an Injun and told the security to get me to stop squawking on the property. Then the police took my car. Then we had a hurricane. I went on top of a mountain. I went on a trail I couldn't find anywhere. I came back and saw a shack. I hid in the shack. The shack happens to be owned by the same state college. So I violated the trespass. They never gave me a citation to appear in court. So months later, I was expecting an email with a WebEx link and a date. That never came. So just one day, coincidentally, I had to steal a propane tank to survive. After cops had stolen my bike, cops had harassed me several times. I forgot what the violation is called when a cop slams on your tent while you're asleep and then steals your bike. But he did that. Who knows what else I do. Yeah, we have targeting, excessive use of force, intimidation, harassment, violation of my Fourth Amendment right, violation of my First Amendment right. And then I think it was either my 8th or my 14th. And then I have like six other instances of police documented. Just to let you know, if I die, I wanted to put this out here because police in Vermont are killing homeless people. And I've told you guys last week, 2 days in a row, rednecks showed up and fired shots off at me. One of them missed me by 10 feet. So I'm sure they're all in Randolph. Small towns get together and they justify, just like my mom does, they will go so far as to kill someone before they'll take a look inside and really think about their decisions and throw away their bias to see the truth of the abuse they put others through with their negligence. And I think God is only letting them feel good so that they understand when he strikes the hammer down and they melt in the lake of fire. And I hope they let us watch from the spaceship. Good night, everybody. Wish me luck. They're coming to me every single day.